Hello and welcome back to Heartwork Creations. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I like to do my cream contour routine. And I'm also going to give you a little baby hair tutorial, so keep watching. So I know I usually film with my face makeup already ready to go, so I figured I would film a updated kind of like face routine and how I like to usually contour. I don't always do this routine, like sometimes I like a soft contour with just powder bronzer, but when I do contour, this is how it usually goes. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna start by applying some primer. This is the e.l.f. Puff Puff Primer, and it contains CBD, and I like that. I like that because CBD is supposed to like calm the skin and stuff, so a lot of times I have like some redness going on. So I've been using this for a while now, maybe like a month or so, and I've been liking it, so I figured I would debut it in this video. So I'm just gonna pat it into my skin, my T-zone mostly. Then next, for my foundation, I'm going to use Fenty foundation, the ProFiltr foundation, and I'm gonna mix it with the ILMakiage foundation. I like doing that because right now this one is a little light for me, so I like to darken it up a bit instead of going and buying like a whole other color. And I really like the ILMakiage foundation. So yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand, about one pump. When I do like a full contour like with cream, I don't use as much foundation just because I know I'm going to be, you know, adding more onto the cheeks and stuff. So I like to add about a pump of the Fenty and then just a little bit of the ILMakiage, so like that. And then I'm going to apply that with a brush. This one's by Real Techniques. I got it at Target and it's super inexpensive, so I'm just gonna kind of blot it all over. You can see how it's already blending to my neck because I'm pretty light on my face but just darker on my neck, like most people, I guess. And then by my forehead, I usually just kind of leave this and this area empty since I'm gonna be applying the concealer there. And then next, usually when I do like a bronzer contour, instead of this like full contour, I'll do my concealer and then powder and then the bronzer. But since I'm going to contour with cream today, I'm going to apply the bronzer first and then the concealer so that my under eyes will appear brighter. So I'm going to take my Hoola stick. This is so far my favorite contour stick because it's really easy to blend out and it has a really nice color. It's very like cool tone. It's not super like orangey or like muddy. I don't know, I really like it. So I start off with just, you know, like a couple lines here to kind of contour the cheeks, and I kind of go up a little bit like that. And then I'm gonna apply a little bit around the forehead. That. A little bit here on the jawline. And then I don't always do this again, but if I am going to do it, I apply it here. I'm not a huge nose contour type. I don't know, it's taken a lot of getting used to, but it does make a difference. So I just do that, like I just kind of run it down the sides of my nose. Alright, now that I have it applied where I want it, I'm going to blend it out. And then I just kind of pat. I'm using the same foundation brush. And I'm just patting it in and blending upwards. See how pretty that looks? And then I don't have to use as much bronzer when I do this. But it looks like natural. Like it doesn't look like too exaggeratedly contoured, you know? I know it's like a preference thing. Like some people really like their contour like very marked and precise, but I like it blended and as natural looking as possible. Just blending. And then for the nose, I'm going to take this like small little blending brush and I'm just gonna blend it like that. It'll look better at the end, I promise. And kind of blend it into the eyes like that. Alright, and now for the concealer. For my concealer, I'm going to use the Tarte Shape Tape in Light Sand. This has been my go-to concealer for a while now. I go back between this one and the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. That one is like a little more lightweight. This one is more heavy duty. So yeah, when I'm having a more light makeup day, I use that one, and this one for like my full coverage, full glam days. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get my applicator and apply it right in here. And I just kind of spread it this way. Like that. And then I'm gonna apply some in the center of my forehead, down the middle of my nose, like that. And then right underneath where I contoured. Like that. And then on the center of my chin. You can also do a little bit right here. And then I'm going to use my Kelsin Cosmetics water activated sponge. This one was sent to me and I received a light blue one too, a little like, it's like teal colored, and I've been using that one for like my everyday use, and so I saved the black one for this video so it could look like nice and clean. It's really good. Like it is my new favorite sponge for sure. It feels like a Tempur-Pedic mattress, and I wet it beforehand, so like I soaked it up with the water and then I grabbed my towel and then just like squeezed out all the excess water. And I also like to spray it with a little bit of like rose water. So this is my rose water spray. I'm gonna spray a little bit. And then I'm just gonna start to blend out my contour or my concealer. Just gonna start blending it in, just patting it. I'm not really moving it around too much because I don't want to cover that contour that I just applied. You're basically just, you know, bringing your features back to life, because when you apply foundation, it kind of just gives you like an even color all over, and choosing the right tones has a lot to do with how your highlighting and contouring is going to turn out, because you want it to be the right shade so that your features really stand out. If you go too dark, then it's just going to kind of blend in and you're not going to have as much like dimension to your face. So you always want to go a couple shades lighter for your concealer, and for contour maybe like 3-4 shades darker. And then so I'm just gonna keep blending, and I'm just patting it in. I'm not really like rubbing or anything because I want to keep it right where it's at. I'm gonna look up, get as close to the eyeshadow as possible, but don't ruin your work. I always like to add just like a little drop more right here. Believe it or not, I got stung by a mosquito on my face here and here, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply a little more on that bitch. It's funny because the stupid buzzing of the mosquito woke me up, and I woke up and I saw it buzzing around and I killed that shit, and I saw my blood on my own pillow. So yeah, I was pissed. And after I'm done blending in the concealer, I usually just kind of go over with the other side that I didn't use, just to melt and blend and marry everything together nice and smooth and evenly. There's no like harsh marks or anything. Everything is just one. All right, now that that is done, I'm going to set everything. So for that, I'm going to use the Airspun loose face powder, and this is in translucent. So I'm just going to apply a little bit. I don't like going too heavy with the powder, so I'm going to use my powder puff. I'm just going to press into that. I'm going to go right underneath and just softly press that in. Like that. My favorite translucent powder is the Laura Mercier, but this one is honestly like next best in my opinion. I haven't really tried many, to be honest, but this one is really close to the Laura Mercier one. Like, the only thing about this one is it has kind of a strong scent. I don't really mind it, but yeah, some people don't like that. But it is like more than half the price of the Laura Mercier one, so I'm happy with this one for now. I'm gonna leave a little bit of the powder underneath my eyes for now, just for a little while. So I'm gonna let the powder bake for a little bit underneath and just chill there for a bit while I finish up the rest of my face. I'm going to go in with Hoola bronzer by Benefit, of course, one of my favorites. I'm gonna use my Suavecita contour brush. I'm just gonna apply a little bit. I don't need a lot since we already did that other contour underneath. So I'm just kind of applying it everywhere that I did my cream contour. Lightly though, I'm not going too ham with it. And you can see how bright it is in the center, like underneath on my nose, and obviously here still. But it's nice and bronzy here in my contoured areas. And I just have that whole like dimensional effect as a painting would. So that is the goal, to look like a painting. Then I'm going to apply a little bit of blush. I'm going to use this Anastasia Beverly Hills little blush palette. It's a blush trio in Peachy Love. And I'm going to dip into this color here lightly. I'm not a huge blush person, but I'm just going to add a tiny bit, little bit, right on the apples of my cheeks. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of highlight. But before that, I'm going to set my face. So to set my face, I'm gonna use the Urban Decay De-Slick setting spray. This is gonna help me stay nice and matte because I do tend to get oily. You just want to make sure it hits all over your face. And then while your face is still damp, that's when you want to apply your highlight. So I'm gonna use these two colors here, a little bit. I'm not trying to be too gleaming today. Just a little bit. If I want something a little more blinding, then I'll use a thicker like shimmer, like a not as fine milled shimmer, so it can be like super bright. But this is just to add like a little bit of a glow. This isn't anything crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my mosquito bite into a little beauty mark. So I'm gonna use my little Suavecita brush tip pen in black, and I'm just gonna lightly draw a little dot like that. And then I'm gonna take my translucent little puff and then go over it a little so it doesn't look so shiny. Yeah. All right, now that my makeup is finished, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I lay down and tame my little baby hairs. I got a request for that on Instagram, so I figured I can cover that in this video too. Basically, there are different like products that you can use. Obviously, I like to use either gel. So in here I have like the Eco Style gel and the I think the olive oil one or something like that. I don't think it really matters which one, but the Eco Styling gel is really good. I like to use that one like on a day-to-day basis when it's just something like soft, for like when I want them to last all night and when I want them to look super just clean and just laid down. They aren't gonna go anywhere. Then I use my holy grail Suavecita. My Suavecita pomade is honestly like the best for baby hairs. It just gives it that like wet look. They don't move. And yeah, that's usually what I like to go to, or like when I do hairstyles too, like on other people, and to like really lay down like flyaways. So I'm gonna apply just a little bit, like I just grabbed a little dot and I'm gonna apply it on my part just really quickly. And then for the baby hairs, I just got like a little tiny bit. And then I'm gonna take this little brush. I used to use a toothbrush. A toothbrush works perfectly fine, but I bought this little brush at Bobo's, like this beauty supply store, for like $2. So just go ahead and use the brush side, and I just use a tiny bit. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just brush downwards first. And then I go and use my finger to hold them down and then brush them back into my hairline. That. And it's up to you how like dramatic or like how much hair you want to use. But it just really cleans up the look. I'm gonna apply some here. And down. Use some here. I just use a little bit here. And then I got these little ones here. That. And then I know you don't really see this side, but I'm just gonna do it anyways. Alright, and that completes the look for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I will be happy to answer them. Please make sure to like this video for me, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you thought about the video down below. Give me some love and some feedback, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!